Youth Dialogue, and I am your host, Jennifer Sonko. It's always good to be back. Unfortunately, last week we couldn't be here, but we're back here. I always talk about consistency, and special thank goes to the volleyball academy right there with Fatima Jame, as well as the partner that came here. They did extremely well with that interview. I got so many calls coming up and down telling me these are going to be our next champions when it comes to Gambia reaching the AFCON quarterfinals. They will be the ones to make the next headline. They're making the headlines already, but they can go far. So looking at that particular program that we had last week, we can now conclude that really the Scorpions are motivating young people in other sports. So today we're getting back to something that we've discussed slightly before. That is the issue of NYSS. I'm afraid those born around my generation might not really know what NYSS is, because as time went by, we saw that really its publicity was in there, and the list goes on. So that is why today I'm joined by Kadi Jallo from NYSS to help us understand what the problem was, you know, what the problem still is, because it's still ongoing. You know, just today I was having a conversation with the deputy director, and he just told me some of the constraints there and their efforts to actually revive it, to make it great again. You know, I can't remember, but I can't remember from conversations that I have with people who pass through NYSS when it comes to the excitement and some of the things that they've learned, using it as a transition or a passage, whatever you call it. So today we're joined by Kadi Jallo. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I think this wouldn't be an easy one for you today.
I believe it will be an easy one.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for having me.
Yeah.
I'm Kadi Jallo from NYSS, the training officer.
Yeah.
Basically, when we talk about NYSS, is an institution under the Ministry of Youth and Sport that was established in 1996 to provide skills for young Gambians and also to inculcate knowledge and young Gambians during their work and then during their training and even wherever they are. So NYSS was known to, or is still known to be, an institution where young people pass through, and then the moment you pass through, we expect you at least to be somebody that will be well disciplined in the society.
Yeah, but that's not the case right now. It's not a passage anymore. It's not a transition. Let's agree with that. People like me, for instance, Bima Jehale grade 12, NYSS did not come to my mind. My colleagues, NYSS did not come to their mind. And apart from skills, putting skill aside, let's take a look at patriotism, you know, discipline, all of that. I'm aware NYSS is supposed to instill it in Gambians, but we lost all of that. It's not a passage anymore. At some point now, it's like some form of nyaka pehe. Do you agree with me?
No, I will not agree with that, Jennifer.
Why?
Because if you looked at what the institution is doing, I will say we are doing even greater now than before. Yeah, because if you looked at then, the institution was not that much popular, and then not many people were enrolled into the program. But now looking at the different programs that we have now, we are able to mold young Gambians to be more responsible than even before. Because then we used to have only the normal batch where we only target those that go to school. But now we are expanding the program to target even young Gambians whom we know that they are dropped out, others whom we know that they could not make it, and others whom we know that they didn't even go to school at all. That shows you that the institution is even growing bigger as it was.
Okay, but take me back history a little bit. What went wrong?
Basically, maybe just some technicality and some other issues on the ground. That is, I can say, is things beyond what I can say even. But anyway, along the line, there were some issues with the then government, and then the institution was somehow sidelined because of some circumstances and some issues that was between the institution.
But these are the issues and the circumstances I want you to bring out on this program today. I want to know what these circumstances are for people to understand that it does not have to do with the name, but maybe the circumstances that you're talking about. So what are these? Yeah,
because if I can remember, previous years, the institution is fully funded by government.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was a time that, you know, some issues with the government, and you know me,
I want these issues to come out. Like, I want these issues on the table. I don't want to hear issues. I want to hear this and this and this is the reason.
Yeah, the
we
funding,
have to be blunt about these
exactly.
things.
The funding that was coming from the government due to one reason or the other, then I was not in the institution. But based on the information I gathered after joining the institution, there was some issues when it comes to financing and then also the sponsorship. So it was really affecting the performance of the institution. So based on that, the institution was somehow down because we are 100% subvented institution. All our funding comes from the government.
Right.
So if those issues are coming up with the government, automatically the performance of the institutions will go down, and also the number of people that we will enroll and sponsor will automatically go down.
Okay, so was there a specific reason? Because this is in Yahya Jammeh's. Is it during Yahya Jammeh's regime?
Exactly.
And now in Adam Barrow's regime.
Yeah.
So I want to know, during Jammeh's regime, was it because of a specific reason why this organization was sidelined? Did it have to do with political issues or things, or the management was going in a way that he did not like? You know, what was the issue?
You know, sometimes we cannot just say that, because there were Jammeh's time, he just want to control everything.
Okay.
Any institution that he don't have a total control of, he tried to cut down their feathers. And NYSS was performing extremely well.
Okay.
And then we were even contributing very well in nation development because we were molding a lot of young Gambians, and they are contributing immensely in the national development when it comes to skills. But it's sad to say, it's still that same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we are in another regime, like you mentioned. He likes to cut people's feathers when he sees that things are not working. Now things have changed.
Exactly.
Now here we are.
Yeah.
What is new? You know, what is new? For me, the skills is one thing, but the patriotism that you're talking about, the love for country, the respect, because people in Gambia here sometimes do not respect the money. They don't respect our flag. They don't respect the national anthem. And all of these things, they need an institution to learn this, which is supposed to be the NYSS.
Exactly.
So can you take us through, before we go to the skills, in that area, what are you doing to ensure that it is back to where it used to be?
Yeah, presently we are on constant media sensitization with these people, because about 2 months back I was in Basse, I was in Bansang, I was in Jarasoma to sensitize young people on the importance of skill acquisition and what are some of the opportunities that they can have in the institutions, and then trying to give them some words of courage and then even motivate them to join the program, because it is 100% free for them. It is free, they pay your tuition fee, and we even motivate you to give you some token that will help to at least facilitate your movement during your studies. I think that's going far to at least bring more young people into the program, because as I'm talking right now, we're just from the upcountry interviewing these young people for the 14 batch intake. And Jenaba, to tell you the fact, every day the number of calls that I receive concerning this intake is just too much. That shows you that young people are now coming up and they are taking ownership of this available opportunity for them.
Right. So so we will go for a short break and take a look at this video, and when we come back you will tell us more about it. I went out and about with you to just go see what young people who are supported by NYSS are doing. You know, the reason why we're doing this is because NYSS is under the government. This is a safe space for young people. We have a responsibility to show you opportunities that exist. This is funded from government coffers, am I right?
Exactly.
You have the right to know it exists, and it can serve as a positive passage for you. So let's go and take a look at these young people who have skills in different areas, and when we come back we will delve more into the discussion. Do stay tuned.
jënd ma njëriñ bu mag de because by the time when I dem school yëpp lii moo nekkoon sama dream pour am façon liggéey bii nii so man daal gis naa fi depuis ma dooree daal gis naa si naka sax lu bari daal benn ma expérience moo am fi daal dafa war a bari daal soo liggéey bi daal nga ko war a loof.
waaw waaye dégg nañ fi ñu fi wax na tam NYSS nu meloon time boobu bu njëkk ba ak léegi nekkut benn because time boobu noonu nit ki loo dégg rek NYSS lañ laa wax waaye dangaa gis ne njëriñ bi xaw na moo wàññeeku na yow rek dee dégg loolu ak ndax loolu gëm nga ne am na ndax amut.
daal moom mel na nekkutoon si loolu daal waaye daal lu ma ko gisee nii léegi daal non am naa si yaakaar daal léegi moom fu mu nekk nii gars yi dinañ si defin daal bu bari daal.
léegi yow lan nga am pour wax yeneen ndaw yu nekk si biti ñi nga xam ne foog nañ ne bëgguñ façon liggéey yi nii jarut ñu dem through NYSS ñoom daal si office rek lañ bëgg a toog.
liggéey bi daal dañ foog ne daal dafa lifin de liggéey bi da ngay daal liggéey bu baax la daal liggéey bu baax la de parce que man depuis moo fi ñëwee ba léegi boobu non gis naa fi daal lu bari daal soo ndaw yàlla li ma waxal gars yi daal buñ toog di wane ne ñoo liggéey office nii nekkuñu fa ñu mun a liggéey si office. ñu ne gis fii nii dëgg liggéey bi dafa tilim de liggéey dëgg dafa ufa baax.
léegi yow fan nga séntu sa bopp in the next few years to come si liggéey bi nga nekk ni
ma séntu sama bopp daal maa ngi séntu sama bopp si kaw daal si kaw waaw ma bëgg a Gambie bi yëpp dégg sama tur nekku Gambie bi kese sax àdduna bi yëpp.
start na kuja maja cinta because kabit kanana nja malo num fam kam e ka eyebrow ni e ka muta nyami kom ka brows nim fam fenke but kabere nata nan janto na kuja ma karanjanne na teacher yen karande and kana on time 9 o'clock nyanta ka kamol tarajanne so mo len do ko ke janata kanana nana da en ay mol asis mol ay mol la do ko jibe fa beteata wala fa betea ñenda ka mol ma koy mol lakta bagasul do like dummy mol man dummy soto and ni how to call it makeup bagasul do imantara mol bul amanke mol yebe la soto na dol soto bara amanke mol yebe la soto na tale sa mol ma koy no wala mol ma koy wa janin kana nan jang mol yang encourage la comme ka fanya ko salonol be siarin ya understand so janni benin ke la teta ku do ke nienin karang atina ko do sotoraje because salonol over siata janne but mbama yemma koy wol sifa comme ako I encourage ba ke pour nana na salonol na ke ya understand so kabe na hanjang then feel comfortable tal so nata la fi namun choose nata la fara kendeka ni mechu mal la fi ka karang just ka karang dolo ni parita na sisu kono laftale na karang comme sem fa na fano jeto and comme antinyima jandoro yala te yakarane so aferenti ba fam benefit ka kono ya understand so laftale kake kati o natambi kati ñoom laa bëggoon a def yàggoon naa ko bëgg a def léegi ma déggee nii di ko def si laa ñëw ma apply ma am lii bi si laa dugg si ñëw waaye maa ngi siy gis njëriñ boo xam ne mosuma ko woon a xam si ñëw nit yi seen xalaat bi daal moo nekk na nga try rek ba nga am sa place si boppam ba nga mun a amal sa boppam njëriñ maa ngi try maa ngi def suma level bés nit yaa ngi jam ñu maa jàppale bu baax suma boss everyday daf ma di encourage pour nga try yàlla baax na waaw dëgg la yu si ma am pour wax leen moo nekk nañ góorgóorlu ñu try comme nit yi ñu try ni ñun tam yàgg yal nañu yàlla dimbale rek ba suñu amee suñu place boppam ñu mën a dimbale yu si ñoom tamit mën a dimbale ñeneen ak ñeneen ba
Gambia mën a dem si kanam rek.
Gambia dem si kanam. I'm so happy that she talked about the fact that when she gets a place, so I mean a place, mom lu bëgg njëkk def mooy employ keneen. So the more young people get skills and they employ each other, then the chain gets to break. So welcome back, Kadi.
Sure.
Yeah, so that is the apprenticeship program, I'm aware.
Exactly.
Yeah, so take us through, pour gars yi xam, just so they know, because you know, like I mentioned before we went for the break, some of these opportunities young people do not even know about.
Yeah, we will start with some of the programs that we are offering. Yeah, basically we have 4 cardinal programs that we operate. One of the programs we have is the apprenticeship training program, like I said. We target young people who could not complete their secondary education, or those that went to the Arabic school, and those that they didn't even go to school at all. So we categorize them under the apprenticeship training program, where they will be having 100% practical, no theory. It's all practical.
All right, so show me practical. Let me see the practical that's happening there.
Yeah, that is when we were the sessions we went to. Those are the people that are doing that. So they are not going to the schools. We send them to the centers, to the workshops where they will be learning these skills continuously. Yeah, for the period of 24 months.
For the period of 24 months there.
Yeah, exactly. Then we also have the other program that is the skill acquisition program. We target students that complete secondary education, and they will be also posted to different skill centers, like Gambia College, GTTI, Starling, Inside. These are some of the institutions that we partnered with. Now, after the 6 weeks orientation at the camp, we deploy these young people to these institutions that I have mentioned. So we also have the community service, where we go into public places, to the markets, to any other place where we feel that our services are needed. Then we will at least contribute our part to at least clean up those areas, or to do other activities that that facility or that area needs. And then we also have another program that is on the pipeline, but yet to be implemented. That is the National Youth Service. That is the mandatory National Youth Service that targets.
I was going to come to that.
That targets students that complete graduates, university graduates. They will be enrolled into the system, and they will also go under the NYSS orientation for 6 months, exactly 6 weeks, sorry, and then they will be deployed to different institutions, public institutions, private institutions, even government parastatals. And then they will be rendering their services, because Janaba, looking at it, it is very funny in the Gambia when you apply for a job, and the first thing that they will ask you is whether you have job experience. And you cannot get this job experience when you are not employed. And this mandatory service will at least help to mitigate some of those problems that young Gambians are facing. They will go through those internship, 1-year internship in this institution, depending on the kind of skills that they offer and the area where they are needed. Looking at the regions, everywhere we will post them to across the country, depending on where their services are needed. So but this program is on the pipeline. It yet to be implemented due to some financial challenges and also some technical things that we need to put in board, because you cannot just bring people graduate from university, just give them haphazard training. So we need to have that technical and that funding from people or from the government, or even any other person who wishes to sponsor these young people to get into this program. So basically, these are some of the 4 cardinal programs that we are operating on.
Yeah, when I went to NYSS today and I saw how, I saw beds, meaning there's an in-house program that is happening there. And I think that is when you get to inculcate that sense of patriotism and love for country, right?
Yes. Those beds are there for during the orientation. Remember, when we recruit these young people from different part of the country, as far as Basse and any part of the country, we recruit these young people, and they will be with us for a period of 6 months, 6 weeks. Sorry, excuse me with that month.
Yeah, with the 6 months, right?
I think you have to excuse me with that. Yeah, they will be with us. That is the time we will be training them on some of these disciplinary area, and then introduce them to some of the courses that they are going to have during their period of training in this institution. Because some of them, we understand that they have no idea on some of the skills that they are venturing into.
Right.
So it's good that at least we give them the foundation or the basic information that they need to know during the course of the training. And they also develop that sense of loving each other, because we have different students coming from different parts of the
religions,
country, different religions, different concepts, and everything different. So during that period of 6 months, they develop that love among themselves. You know, they motivate each other, they encourage each other, and you know, it's nice. It's always very, very nice to have them during that week, that 6 weeks orientation.
All right, so we will open the lines now.
Before you open the lines, let me just come to those beds. During the orientation, sometimes we face a lot of challenges, because we even reduce the number of intakes that we take due to shortage of rooms that we have. Because previously we used to enroll over 200 students, but now we cut it to 150, because looking at those beds, they cannot accommodate more than 150 students. And you know, it's not just hygiene to pack people in those rooms like that. So they need to have their own space. Each student need to have a bed where you will be comfortable during the training. So
so I just hope, anyway, the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports was here today, and I did engage him in relation to NYSS, and he talked about development that is on the way to actually change the current narrative, because it's quite sad. When I visited NYSS today, I saw the rooms. I wasn't happy. I feel like it should look better, and the deputy director told me about having to reduce the number and all of that. So because the finances are not there. But right now we'll just open the lines on 5050505. Particularly, I am begging some of the alumni of NYSS to call. I want you to call and tell me how NYSS has really impacted your lives, because currently it's not as vibrant. We need to accept that. You are building back, am I right?
Sure,
yes, you are building back. It's not looking good. But then, if you just call, please tell us if you've been through NYSS, what has been your experience, and if you have any recommendations as to how you want to see your NYSS. This is an organization under the government for young people, funding coming from government coffers. You have a say in this. Like it or not, you do have a say as to the entire processes. Kadi, am I right? They do have a say, right?
They did, exactly.
Yes, so I want to know how decentralized NYSS is. Do you have offices up country, and how often do you engage young people in rural Gambia?
Yeah, presently we are working to have some structures.
Yes, so before you answer that, we have a caller on the line.
Okay.
So, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Naka nga tuda ak fonyo call. Where are you calling from, and what's your name?
I'm calling from Sanya. My name is Fadal.
Okay, Fatu. So what do you have to say?
And I just want to thank the woman of doing something important like that.
Okay.
Because young people are out there and they have the talent, but they don't have any institution to go and to implement their talent. So if she's there helping them to improve on those things, so she's an amazing guy. I really admire her for doing that for young Gambians.
Yeah, but to tell you, this is not owned by Khadija. Yes, this is a government institution. It's your institution. You own NYSS as a Gambian. So I want you to utilize it. Do you want to venture into skills?
Yes.
So what skill do you want to venture into?
No, anything. If I already graduate, anything I want to do, like makeup, that's what I'm doing. I really like to do makeup, to be honest.
Okay, good. We have Mohammed Danso here in the studio, and he'll be talking about where to start, and you will get to learn from him.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. I think we had to clear that, Kadi.
Exactly.
We had to clear that.
Exactly.
But yeah, so moving on, let's talk about the decentralization.
Yeah, to what I was saying, presently we are working on having our own structures in all part of the country. Yeah, presently we already secure land in URR. We are working to develop that land and then, you know, have our own structure there. But right now we are working with the youth coordinators. When the forms are printed in the institution, we normally take these forms to the youth coordinators in all the regions, where their young people will come to the youth office and collect these forms, fill them back, and then we will go back as a team to interview these young people. Then after interviewing those that are successfully registered, then we will call them to the camp for orientation. Yeah, and then for the apprenticeship training program, every month we go back to the region to see what they are doing and also to pay their monthly stipend. Because these young people need constant monitoring and constant encouragement for them to do something. Because some of them, the moment they sit in their workshops for 1-2 months, they didn't see us, they will think that the program is over, we don't need to be serious anymore. That is why we constantly be with them and then constantly give them those motivation for them to complete the program and then venture into something else which is very important for their lives and contribute immensely for nation development.
Yes, so 5050505. I'm really okay. We have a caller on the line. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Man la Binta.
Binta.
Wow.
So Binta, yow lan nga am pour wax ci programme bi?
Dama bëgg programme bi neex na ma torop.
Programme bi neex na la. So yow ndax am nga skill, ndax da nga bëgg am skill?
Waaw, dama bëgg bokk ci rek moo tax ma call.
Ah.
Waaw.
Bok man kon programme bi neex na de ba ay nit di ko rek pour bëgg bokk. Man kontaan naa de. Anyway, I just hope ne di nga am loy jàng ci programme bi because tey ñu ngi waxtaane loo xam ne it has to do with skill and we believe ne skill young people yi suñ ko amee is the way out.
Wow.
All right, thank you so much for calling. So back to you, Kadi.
Yes.
Waaw, ku bëgg bokk ci xama compagnie meeting bi nag.
Naka nga def waa dinañ bàyyi Kadi mu ansal la loolu noonu.
Wow, okay.
Alright.
Because dama dee try ma gis makeup yooyu ak so dama bëgg bokk ci classes yooyu.
Ok, so léegi bul teg téléphone bi yow joxel sa number bi ci suuf koy waxal ci suuf. Jox ko number bi yow joxel sa number ci suuf bul teg téléphone bi dangaa joxe sa number su ko defee yow from there dinañ la mën a engage dégg nga.
Okay.
Baax na jërëjëf. So I was going to come to the process lastly as to how to register, but as long as she took us there, let's go in that direction.
Yeah, it's very simple. At the moment the forms are available for registration, just walk to your youth coordinator, that is any region where you are. The forms are always decentralized to avoid the burden of coming up to Bakau to ask for where NYSS is. So it's easy for you to access your youth coordinators in your region to pick the form. The form is just $100. Initially, Jennifer, these forms used to be free for every young Gambian. But because sometimes we, the Gambians, moment we don't put something to have something, we don't value it. So we decide to attach a value of $100 to the form. When you pick the form, you attach your necessary documents, and then you just submit the forms back. That's the only expenditure you do when it comes to registration.
Okay, so I want to know, do you have clubs in schools? You know, do you have clubs or, you know, in schools whereby these young people know that NYSS amna, so ma pare grade 12, munako use as a passage, them UTG, them GTTI, them MDI. So does that exist or do you do school outreaches? Yeah,
yet right now we didn't reach to the schools, but as I'm speaking, we already wrote a proposal and we are to start that program let's say next week, inshallah, if everything goes as planned, to reach to the schools. We call it the school sensitization campaign.
School sensitization. Let's come back to that now.
Yeah.
So, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Who's speaking? Thank you for joining us.
My name is Fatu Kamara. You live in Karan.
Okay, Fatu Kamara. So, what do you have to share with us?
In NYC, this program is very important.
Okay.
So if you want to join this kind of program, how will you contact me?
Okay, so that is what we are discussing right now, how to contact them. She just said there are different branches in different regions, so you can easily pick up a form, but we will further delve into that.
Okay.
But what skill do you want to do? What skill do you want to venture into?
Any skill, right?
Any skill? No. Mohammed, if Mohammed hears you, Mohammed is here from Startup Incubator. He's about to join me now. If you say any skill, he can't guide you. You have to tell me which skill you want to do.
Okay, I have a younger sister who said that if you he would like to do makeup or the tailoring, whatsoever.
I don't want to hear whatsoever. What specific skill do you want to do? Do you want to do makeup or tailoring? Have you decided? You want to do tailoring?
My younger sister will do tailoring.
Okay, no problem. Mohammed will join us here and he will address the issue of, people not knowing where they want to go.
Okay, thank you
All
for
right,
the program.
thank
The
you.
program is very important for the young people.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. So I think we have to delve further on how to get
this is one of the biggest problems we have when it comes to recruiting young people.
Yes.
You will enroll them into the system. When it comes to final skill assessment, when you ask them what do you want to do exactly, they will tell you, I want to do anything. So sometimes we find it difficult and we cannot choose skills for you. You have to choose and we guide you.
Yeah.
So sometimes they need to help us at least to finalize what they want to do before coming to the center.
Before coming to the center, right? But if they do not finalize, you don't have a counselor or anyone who can guide them to tell them, hey, this is what you're good at. To make suggestions to them.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do sometimes, because when you looked at you sometimes physically, using psychological analysis, let's say, Jennifer, you said you want to do plumbing, looking at your structure and then whatsoever, we'll automatically say that, Jennifer, why not you do tailoring? Or why not you do hairdressing? I think you will be good in tailoring than plumbing.
Okay.
Sometimes these are some of the things that we advise them.
Okay.
And eventually it helps.
It does?
There was a lady during this past orientation, when she comes to the, how to call it, skill assessment unit, when we ask her, what do you want to do? Looking at her, that the kind of skills she want to choose,
it's not possible.
even if you sponsor her, she will not continue.
Okay,
because
so
it requires something.
she will not continue, so we'll hold it on there. Who's on the line?
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. What's your name?
Maggie.
All right, so what do you have to share with us?
Naka nama buga bokk seen programme bi.
Waaw lan nga bëgg a yokk ci programme bi?
Nama buga bokk salon def makeup.
Yow tam skill nga bëgg a am. Waaw balaa fikkat yi nag di génn man nag kontaan naa parce que gis naa ne ñëpp a ngi bëgg a am skill. So balaa fikkat yi di génn dina make sure mu jox ñu all the necessary information su ko defee yi ñëpp ngeen mën a dem uti skill foofu. All right, thank you so much for calling. All right, so publicity is important.
Exactly.
That is why we're here as a program.
Yeah.
This is what we want. We want people to know what their country has to offer them and they tap into it.
Exactly.
So you talked about the fact that sometimes you provide counseling for these people, but I'm going to take you back to the schools.
Okay.
You talked about an outreach in schools. So how far with that?
Yeah, we are on the process.
Okay.
And normally, before we send these young people to these schools, we normally have what we call a management tour, where they will go to these schools and have an MOU with them.
Right.
That will guide us through, because sometimes it's not easy. You cannot just somebody into somebody's institution like that. The management need to go and talk to the management of that institution, tell them some of the programs we have, and then they have an MOU, an agreement, before we deploy these young people to
these places.
Yeah.
So finally, you said there, youth representatives in these particular areas. So I just hope they're active. Ndax nit ñi xam nañ leen pour xam ne si ñoom lañ war a dem. Ba pare I'm aware that NYC, I don't know if it's still active, they have a toll-free number. Are you aware of that? Are you partnering with them to make sure that when you have opportunities, when they ring, they can get to know about it?
Yeah, I can say we are partnering, because when we prepare the forms, that's where we send them to their representatives.
Okay.
To the youth coordinators, and the youth coordinators are representative of NYC.
Okay.
So that's where they will pick the form. So that collaboration is between the two institutions.
Okay.
And it is really
But
helpful.
how known are these youth representatives? I don't know. And how is the demand? I'm just trying to assess to see if people really know the existence of this particular organization. How is the demand for the opportunities?
The demand is more than what we can afford presently.
Right.
Yeah. Because after issuing the forms, they will be calling in the office, the youth coordinators, can you please help us with more forms? Young people are coming every day asking for forms, and the forms are finished in the region.
And the forms are finished. So let's take this call before we leave you. Assalamu alaikum.
Maaleykum salaam, naa def.
Jaama rek na nga def?
May fine.
Naka nga tudda?
Mariama Top.
Naka?
Mariama Top.
Okay, so yow lan nga am pour share tey si programme bi?
Dama gis ne gaa yi lifi naka mu ngi important ba pare man tam dama am skills.
Okay.
Dama bëgg a join hanga.
Waaye yow am nga skills ba pare?
Waaw.
Waaye da nga bëgg a gën a jàng?
Waaw.
Yow lan mooy sa skills?
hello Jenaba.
naam man yow ban skills nga am ban skill nga am sorry.
moom makeup mais Jenaba man la sista moom makeup la.
makeup la mun. makeup. waa baax na soo fi mu nekk balaa kat yi di dem dimaan baa ngi mun a xaay nag waaye fi mu nekk nii balaa kat yi di dem dina fi bàyyi nomba bi. su ko defee yéen mi nga xam ne bëgg ngeen form bi su ko defee ngeen jël form bi ngeen dem ngeen am improve seen boppa waaye am nañ fi Mohamed Danso mi nga xam ne tam dina leen mun a guide yéen mi bëgg a def makeup yéen mi bëgg a def tailoring pour naka ngeen a doxalee.
waaw ok dafa seetaan programme mu ngi interesting.
mu ngi interesting
because it's very interesting pour nga am skill.
dëgg la.
te man mi waxa yow nii sax man dem naa Bison for 2 years ma jàng electrical installation from grade 12. so léegi may nawet staff la.
macha allah
maa ngi fa mécanique. so ma ne ko trial nga join because skill dafa am important. bul xool ne yow jigéen la. am na ñi nga xam ne da nga gis jigéen bi nga xam ne dafa def electrical installation ñu naan la xëy yow liggéey góor nga def. jigéen buy def mécanique ñu lay xëy yow liggéey góor. xam nga soo fekkee ne da nga déggal lool rek yow sax loo bëgg a doo ko mun a continuer.
wax dëgg
soo mën a ko trial nga koor because élection soo munee métier daf laa amal njëriñ.
macha allah li nga wax yëpp dëgg la
waa ok.
baax na
jërëjëf gis nga man bu ma wàccee dama dem straight ma def electrical installation. léegi alhamdulilah am na nawet sax maa ngi liggéey foofu Power Station.
jeex na tak so fi mu nekk nii yow nawet staff nga te jigéen nga te is a male dominated field jërëjëf si contribution boobu noonu. so is there a number that people can call?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can take my number or any one of the numbers.
But don't give your number.
Yes.
Don't give your number. Preferably, can we have another number, an office number, or someone else's number?
Yeah. We
Yes.
can have that.
So what's the number?
310-3434.
Okay.
310-3134.
310
3434.
3434 310 3434. If you get to call this number, then you will get to have all the information that you need to join NYSS. But please do not go anywhere. Do not move an inch, because the most important part of the program is coming, which is guiding you guys through this particular skills. And the fact that everyone is confused. Everyone wants to do makeup. Everyone wants to do tailoring. No. There's something you're good at, and you need to find that out. You need help to actually find that out. So thank you so much, Kadi, for joining us. So final words to young people out there. And hey, I'm watching. Kadi, I'm watching NYSS, okay? I'm watching you guys to see what you guys are doing, you know, because it's such an important organization.
Exactly.
And I feel like young people should benefit greatly.
Exactly. Jenaba, I'm sure you will be impressed when it comes to our performance now.
Yeah.
You'll be very impressed because we are working tirelessly to ensure that these young people are engaged and then they are well equipped when it comes to skills. Right. Because Jenaba, a country cannot develop in the absence of skills.
Right.
We need to venture into these skills. And then to our young girls out there, particularly, they need to venture into skills. We cannot just rely 100% on our men.
Right.
So we need to have something for ourselves. And then, most importantly, let the people outside there stop discriminating people who are venturing into other skills.
Right.
There was an instance for this program, this apprenticeship training program. We posed a girl to a car park for maintenance, for this auto mechanic. She was there for 1 week, 2 weeks. You have to come back to the office. Auntie Kadia, I cannot do this anymore. I said, what is the problem? He said, I am discriminated in the center. They said, why am I venturing into these skills when we have other skills that women can do? I said, what I told her is it that, are you interested in continuing with these skills? She said, I'm interested. I said, have the courage. Be bold enough to do what you want to do.
Right.
The moment you have that in you, you will move. And let's people take ownership of this program is very important.
Yeah.
And Jenaba, to last week, we urging every young Gambian there, philanthropists, private individual, and any other person that needs to help or wants to help these young people. We are readily open to welcome your ideas. Let's move the country together. Let's move it together. So right now, we are suffering from financial stress because the demand is more than what we can afford. The reason why we cut down the number of students that we enroll is because of funding. If we enroll you into the system, we have to pay your stipend, we have to pay your tuition fee, we need to provide you learning materials. And this program is 100% sponsored by government. And government cannot do it all. So we need other people to partner with us to help these young Gambians.
All right, looking forward to getting NYSS on its feet back to where it used to be.
Exactly.
And thank you so much for the work that you do. You know, I was just pushing for us to just understand the work that you are doing and what we can achieve collectively.
Exactly.
In Ghana and in Nigeria, I don't know how they call their NYSS that's there.
It's
but
NYS. In
NYS
Ghana,
or
they have
something,
NYS,
and in
yeah.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
And to tell you, they're active.
They are very
The
active.
trend has been there. It never
Exactly.
changed. Trust me, I can tell you that. Today, I told the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, and he even said yes. So we want to have the same thing in Gambia as well. You know, we do not really need to depend on other organizations all the time coming to our aid, donating us things for us to be skillful. You know, as long as we have one that is for government, it's for us to embrace it and work towards it. So thank you so much for joining us, Khadija. So we will go for a short break, and in this break we will take a look at something. Aji Bintu Drame went all the way to Banjul to take a look at the human carriers when it comes to canoes and boats. It's not really connected to what we're discussing today, but it still has to do with young people not having skill and having to resort to things that they do not want to do. So I saw that and I felt like I needed to share it here. So we will take a look at that, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Mohammed Danso from Startup Incubator just to quickly give us tips as to when we have skills, where should we start from, what should we do, and what we should not do. We'll be right back.
Omar Diallo borom gaal laa fii laa dee liggéey inde eb nit yi fii baara di leen andi fii nii liggéey bi moom sant yàlla ana liggéey bi moom léegi-léeg ñetti féri yee daf dee xaw a métti foraatu la rek dañ dee mun a eewu baara di mun a foraatu foofu noonu ñëw fii jël si bagage saasa xam nga fii amul client léegi saasa féri bi su taawee nii client yi dawee ñëwee nii te fii daf dee xaw a tey xam nga client yi suñ baree fii nii daf dee mun a dañ nit sécurité bu bëri xam nga gars yi mun a dimbale fii nii parce que fii daf dee mun a dof saasa liggéey bi moom ñun yëpp waa baara lañ juddoo baara lañ jàngee school ba mag xam nga waaye ñun géej bii nii daf ñu xaw a dimbale tuuti parce que ñun dañ jàng ba jeexal amuñ liggéey ñëw ñu dugga si géej bi xam nga pour liggéey pour teral suñu waajur yi xam nga moo gën dem saaci dem def leneen mun nañoo dem def leneen ñu ne doomi diw yaahu na wala mu ngi dem def leneen xam nga waaye nag ñu ngi ñaan gouvernement bi dañ bugg a liggéey rek lañ bugg a nag nañu dimbale si liggéey xam nga ñu ut leneen tamit développement mun a am dañ nit ñu ceeñi sama parce que gaal yi doxul lii liggéey doole la soo amul sa doole su jeexee rek bés bu mu jeexee sa liggéey jeex na xam nga man ñaanuma yàlla nekk si lii ba ma dee ñaanuma yàlla suma morom nekk si lii ba mu dee maa ngi ñaan leneen ñu def leneen tamit xam nga moo tax nag ñu yëpp ñu ngi def effort yàlla baax na waaye gouvernement daf ñu war a dimbale gestu youth si xam nga youth si soona nañ teetee xale yu ndaw yaa ngi fii demuñ school duñ dee nangoo dem school sax ngir lan man xaw ma ba léegi xale yi lu tax duñ dee nangoo dem school toppa géej bii nii rek school bi problème.
Welcome back from that break. So I brought in that video deliberately, you know, to show that these people do not really want to be there. If they had another skill, they would venture into that, and that is the connection there. But by the way, we'll come to that shortly. Thank you so much for joining us, Mohammed Danso.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
I'm always dragging you here quickly. We just want to achieve a lot within a very limited time. Okay. We saw that most of the people, if you call, they don't know what they want to do. All of them are confused. Some are saying any skill. How, you know, as an individual, how can you work towards deciding what to do?
So always have to start inwards.
Okay.
You have to look at yourself as an individual.
Xool sa bopp.
Nga xool sa bopp bu baax. Yow what are you passionate about? What do you enjoy doing? Then you have to look at your environment, sa surrounding mi tamit. Let's say for example, yow su fekkee ne yaa dee toog ak mbaxal seen kër every Friday. And when you cook mbaxal, ku nekk si kër bi ñëpp a ngi xaar for the next Friday to come because everybody wants to taste your mbaxal. Because ñëpp a ngi wax neexaay sa mbaxal. There is high chance ne so starting business in mbaxal, you're gonna make sales. Su fekkee ne yow, da nga nekk si kër bi di jéem a defar makeup ak yooyu noonu. And everybody is amazed by your makeup. Everyone is talking about it. Or later cut and anytime you play people, everyone talks about it. Now that is one way to realize, okay, there is high chance that I can make money out of it. But you still have to go research, make sure that you do the right things and go acquire the right skills. Because there's one thing in having a skill, but there's also another thing in being able to transform that skill to a business. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Man, everybody is confused about what skill to do. But everybody wants to do the same thing. And Lolo is detrimental to that particular craft. Because subare, man how ma de man duma expert. What do you think about that? The fact ne ñepp hejna want to do makeup. Ñepp want to do tailoring.
So basically, gis nga waxoon nañ li commencé woon ni ko fi wax few weeks ago. This Me Too business. Gis naa Jenaba mu ngi def lii rek mu ngi make xaalis. I also want to venture into it. Amoon na video boo fi wone it was a makeup and tailoring. Ak mechanic. But you see more people want to do makeup. And sometimes if I mean people just want to go for the easy thing. Di mo gën a yomb mun naa koo def taf ma am si xaalis. But having a skill is beyond that. Because pour nga tànn ba façon skill nga bëgg a def. Like I said, foog nga xoolaangum sa community bi. Nga xool nit yi lan lañ soxla. All right? You align that to what do you want to do and how do you want to go about it. Then nga dem uti kula mentor or kula guide. All right? So sibi lo non mun nga dem like NYSS, they are doing a great job in terms of helping you to acquire skills or apprenticeship program. All right? But ñoom tamit I think it's important as institutions ñu dee xool tamit what kind of skill are we giving to the kids when they come to our programs. Because at the end of the day I wouldn't be able to quantify but there's a lot of skills mismatch in terms of our job market. Di nga gis ñu bari ñu ngi graduate from skill centers or from schools, even from university sometimes. You go out there, you cannot have the right job. All right? So dafa important trop as institutions ñu tamit ñu dee bring in job creators, people that are employing people, employers, you can say, to understand what kind of skills is needed by these employers, so that when we are training these young people, we train them based on those skills. Guys, as you graduate, they'll be able to market their skills really fast.
Mom, the forward feed that I'm use psychology. Part Boba I couldn't address because due to time constraints. Man, I disagree, but you're the expert here. Mom, she's just working there. Hope maybe she doesn't have that know-how. But she said that. Do you think that is a good or smart way of determining where an individual should fit?
So I wouldn't be able to tell, but based on my profession, I wouldn't use psychology to decide for somebody what he or she wants to do. What I would do is I can guide you. Right? I can guide you and show you the way. But I wouldn't decide for you, this is what you need to do. For example, I'm not going to my office Demba. This morning actually, I'm a computer engineer. But then the Fabuga of poultry. And I asked him, why do you want to do poultry? And he said, because within 45 days I can start selling and make money.
Wow.
All right?
Wow.
So what if after 45 days I got a He said, I'm going. No, it's actually real.
Wow.
And then he was like, okay, I'm like, okay. What will you do? And then at the end of the day, you would not be good at anything. All right? So if it's important, you kind of coach them, right? Because kuneka kogis, there's something that is given to you by God. Now you have to figure out and you nurture that. If you're able to nurture that, you create your own destiny. All right? So if it's important, put you coach them, you guide them, and show them the way, and not to dictate them or to use I'm not sure how psychology would play in that, but my profession wouldn't allow me, I'm not sure, to use psychology, but to be able to guide them, to coach them. Okay, do you have the resources? Do you have the skills? If you don't have the resources, I will not even tell you where to go get the resources. I will tell you, where do you think you can get the resources from? Then you, okay, they gonna so they may feel okay, they find out. So you kind of coach them. Guys, they have to take the initiative on their own. You joke them uti luñ buga def until their client man lila buga def. and then you support them on that.
Okay. Gis nañ ne suñ 57th independence anniversary bu ñoo ñëw dem si nii suñ theme bi mooy economic independence tey Anti Ami Bojang Sissoho from the State House ñëwoon na fi wax na lu am solo mu ne ñun ñëpp suñ ñëwee together waaye mu wax affaire agriculture ni ko ndaw yi di dawee lan nga foog ne moo tax ñu koo daw parce que man dama ko ne factors of production yi dañ bari sometimes nga dégg ku la ne aw ma ndox aw ma lii aw ma lele so yéen startup incubator ndax people si agricultural sector bi they come dañ dee ñëw pour advice ndax dañ ñu ngee daw dama bëgg a xam rek because gis nañ ne doxut
actually dañ dee ñëw pour advice te dinaa la wax ne tamit train nañ over hundreds of young people amoon nañ cohorts yu nga xamante ne with the former NEMA P2RS project train nañ close to 50 young people you know, most of them 80% of them are from the rural area you know they are in different kind of businesses be it poultry be it horticultural garden ñu ngi si food processing you know different components of the agricultural value chain so foog naa the problem is support bi is lacking agriculture dara la lu nga xamante ne people ñu bari dañ foog ne it's for the old people or it's for the poor people and it's the reverse ba pare young people is suñ ko bëggee def tamit sometimes there is this stigmatization right but the other thing is tamit
waaye stigmatization bi pour man nekkatut major issue fuñ gisee jigéen ñi di take up certain jobs wala issue la ba léegi
so issue la ba léegi because mindset bi la
okay
there is high chance ne soo fi tegalee a young person nga ne ko ne okay suit and tie mu ngi nii go sit in the office this is agriculture for you he is going to choose suit and tie and go sit in office. Now, the question is, what is a decent job? That more decent job.
Naka lañ ko dee define.
Is it danga sol suit and tie and them talk office and then you pay 2,500 or 3,000 or 5,000? Is that what you define decent job? Or decent job is you go to the farm and at the end of the day you make your $50,000?
Yeah, it's left to them.
All right. So sometimes it's about the mindset. It's about reorienting ourselves to understand that, okay, it's not always about sitting in the office, but there are so many things that you can do out there, right? And agriculture is one of the things. So I think that independence in terms of because so whole exports imports in terms of agro products is higher, right? And all those things right now you complain the cost of commodities, but what are we producing? What are we producing? That's the question. I think the government needs to inject more resources in the agricultural sector and ties the young people to venture into agriculture more so that, you know, we can have our own self-sufficient in the way we want.
But finally, Mohammed, due to time constraints, what do you have to tell all young people out there who have skill? Fan lañ wara jaar, just quickly, finally, because confusion be bari na.
So, lu ñu wara def first thing mooy let them go and do apprenticeship. It's very important. Get a coach or a mentor come def la mëna guide. If you still think that da nga wara augment your skill, go to training institutions. Right? Nga janga skill bi. So pare lolu noonu. So one thing very well, we have an ecosystem in the Gambia. And this ecosystem needs to be synchronized very well. For example, GTTI, NYSS and other vocational institutions, then you want to work together very well with business development organizations. Last year, we've supported about 245 entrepreneurs. We transition them from various civic institutions. They all have skills. And now they need to transform their skills into business. Some of them, then now, I'm electrician now. So let's say, okay, but what's the business? I'm going to be electrical shop. Right? So it's confusing.
Wow. So be electrical shop skill before
all right? Wow. So it's confusing. So most of them then focus, okay, that's not a business. It's just a skill that I have. So it's important when you work together. These vocational institutions can serve as reservoirs for us. All right? They train these people, then you transition them and bring them to business development organizations. You support them, coach them, you know, show them the way on how to transform their skills into businesses. Then they can pick it up from there.
All right. Thank you so much, Mohammed. I'm always calling you here last minute and you're always here. Thank you so much for always joining me to actually take us through some of these things. So before I go, this outfit is provided by Tijan Collection. So it's just the top right here. So for all your nice outfits, head right onto Tijan and get something as nice as this or even better. The number for NYSS is right in front of you, 3140434. Get it, call them, and you know, just talk to them and get to have your own way of getting opportunities from there. Like I said, this is a state-owned institution from government coffers, dafa ne private sector wala fenen ñu dimbale len way ñun ñoko mom. So till we come your way to next week, I wanted to say tomorrow, right? Till we come your way next week with another interesting program. Thank you so much for joining us and happy 57th Independence Anniversary. Bye for now.